On today's video, we are going to be taking junk that I thrifted and we are going to be transforming it into gorgeous blue and white high-end decor. I think you're absolutely going to love these projects. Y'all stick around. I'm going to be showing you some new tips and techniques so that you can make over your own projects. The first thing that I did was I pulled out my DIY paint in the color White Swan. DIY paint is clay-based. It's a clay-based chalk paint and it will be reactivated with water. So you do need to put a sealer on your DIY paint. On this piece though, we are going to be using a paint inlay to give it a gorgeous look. We will be using the Delft Traditions Azure paint inlay from IOD. Fun little fact, I actually traveled to Delft, which is in the Netherlands. I took my mom back in 2019, and I'm going to share a few little pictures with you here in just a minute. But first, I'm going to show you how to add a paint inlay. So the first thing you're going to do is after you have one coat of paint, you're going to add your second coat of paint. While that paint is still wet, you're going to take your paint inlay and you're going to mist it with your water bottle so that you get it completely wet and ready to apply. A paint inlay is actually exactly what it sounds like. It has chalk paint as a pattern, and you're going to wet that pattern and then you're going to place it directly into your paint so that it embeds in that paint. This paint inlay set comes with 8 different pages of different patterns. Okay, here is Delft. I didn't even know this existed, but it's where Delft blue and white china and pottery comes from. It's a gorgeous little town. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so back to the paint inlay. After you have it embedded into your piece, you're then going to take your hands and then just gently rub it down. You want to make sure that everything is nice and wet underneath because it has to be wet for the chalk paint that's on the paint inlay to embed into your project. So after you have pressed it down into your piece, you're then going to let it dry. It's best if it can dry overnight, but probably several hours would be good enough. You're going to know when it's completely dry because the paper is going to look cloudy, not clear how it is now. Once it's cloudy, you're going to know that it's ready to peel off. I'm now just working on the very bottom, the very tip of this piece. There is a little piece of the paint inlay that's blank, so you need to notice that before you apply it to your piece. That's why I had to add a little bit more. Okay, now you can see how it was completely cloudy. It had dried overnight, and now I'm taking my mister bottle and I'm going to mist the entire paint inlay that's actually on the project so that it peels off easily. If you don't mist it, it may stick to your paint, your project, or it may peel off some of your underneath paint, the White Swan. So now I'm showing you this in real time. I like to do this nice and slow, so if I see something that needs to be fixed or something like that, I can add a little water and lay it back down. This is the best part of paint inlays, the reveal. I absolutely love this part. Isn't it beautiful? I think it turns out so pretty, and I think I'm going to give this cross to my sister-in-law for her birthday in April. I think she would really like this. I don't think any of my sister-in-laws watch, so I'm safe to say that on this video. I don't think she'll see it in advance. This same technique can be applied to boxes, furniture, trays, anything that you can think of. So if you're not into crosses, you can use the same technique on many other projects. I recommend, if this is your first time, to do it on a flat surface because it's much easier on a flat surface compared to a curved surface or something that has ridges or something like that. I'm now taking out my Rethunk Junk Paint. This is called Farmhouse Navy. It's an all-in-one paint. I also carry this line of paint on my website, and if you haven't tried it out, you should go check it out. It's similar to Fusion Mineral Paint, where it has a built-in top coat, a built-in primer, and a self-leveler. I then took out my big top sealer, top coat from DIY Paint, and I started sealing this piece right over the paint inlay. But for some reason on this particular paint inlay, it began to smear a little bit, and that had not happened on any of my previous pieces that I'd made with any other paint inlay. So I don't know if that was unique to this particular set, but I would recommend do not use your big top on your paint inlays until you know it's not going to smear. So to be on the safe side, I would just take a matte clear sealer and I would just spray it to be on the safe side. But here's the final project. If you like how it turned out, please give me a thumbs up. So the next project are these candlesticks. They weren't too bad as they were. And after I got started on this project, I started thinking that, I could have just used some Shipwrecked. That's a turquoise color wax just to kind of jazz them up a little bit. But I wanted to do something different. So I took out my Midnight Blue from Fusion Mineral Paint. Now, Fusion Mineral Paint is an all-in-one paint. It is a self-leveling, and it also has a top coat in it, so you do not have to use a sealer on this paint. A lot of times on the back of my projects, I tend to like to use an all-in-one paint like Fusion Mineral Paint or Rethunk Junk. And the reason is it just saves you one step. You just can paint it and then you're done. Because a lot of times by the time I do the back side, I'm just done with that project and I don't want to have to put a sealer on as well. It is a good idea to paint the bottom first, but I don't always do that. So I'm just painting these candlesticks, which I purchased, I believe, for $2 and $3 each at a thrift store. And after the paint has completely dried, I decided to take out my golden ticket from DIY Paint. I'm dry brushing these pieces. So basically what that means is I'm dipping my paintbrush into the gold paint, and then I'm taking some of it off, some of the paint off, by just rubbing it on the paper. Some people call that offloading paint. I just like to say I'm just taking it off. And then I'm just hitting the highlights. I'm hitting the edges of this just to give it a little bit extra bling or jazz it up a little bit. I decided just to hit certain parts with the golden ticket instead of the entire piece. Now you could go ahead and cover the entire candlestick, but I thought that would become more of a brass looking piece, and I really wanted this navy blue to show up. Here they are side by side so that you can see what they look with the golden ticket applied to the raised areas. Now, if navy is not your thing, you can apply this to many other colors. It would be gorgeous on greens, blacks, pinks, whatever color. I think this technique would look really good on. If you like how these candle holders turned out, now would be a great time to subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. If you're interested in purchasing any of the products that you've seen on today's video, I will have them linked in the description, and it will take you directly to my website, which is www.jbowenandcompany.com. The next project is a very simple project. It's this black bunny that I purchased. I didn't think it looked very much like spring or Easter, so I thought that I'd give it a makeover. So I took it outside and I sprayed it with some gold metallic Rust-Oleum paint. I didn't film that because I didn't really think you needed to see me just spray painting it. The next project is this bunny that I thrifted for $1.50. I am going to do an experiment on this project. I actually saw something on Pinterest, an inspiration photo. It looked like the bunny was painted blue and then it had a white wax on top of it. For some reason on this piece, I had a really hard time coming up with a color scheme, but I'm going to try this and we're doing this together and we have to decide if we like this look or not. I could have done like a tan or taupe color and put a white wax. That probably would have been a safe choice, or just painted it all white, but I thought that I would do a little bit of an experiment, and if for some reason it didn't work out, of course we can always paint it again. Looks like it had broken in the past and the previous owner had attempted to glue it back together with what looks like Gorilla Glue. So I am going to have to fill in this area with a little bit of spackling. We're halfway through this video and I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Emily. I'm with J. Bowen & Company, and I'm so happy that you decided to watch this video and spend your time here with me today. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Okay, so now I took out this DIY paint in the color, it's called Hey Sailor, and y'all, this gets bad before I'm hoping it gets good. When I'm doing this voiceover on this video, I still have not waxed it yet. But what I ended up doing here is I ended up giving it 2 good coats of paint, and then off camera, I am going to seal it with Big Top. Big Top is one of DIY Paint's sealers. This bunny, in my opinion, was looking so bad. I really was questioning myself at this point if this was going to be a good idea. I also had to switch to my pointed brush because there were so many little nicks and crannies. This big fat brush was not working. So I ended up giving it 2 coats of paint, and then like I said, I sealed it and I let it dry completely. So then the next step will be adding the white wax. I hope this bunny turns out looking good. We'll see. Okay, so the Big Top has now completely dried. The piece is dry, and now I'm going to cover this piece with the white wax. Now, in full disclosure, the piece that I saw on Pinterest was a very realistic looking bunny. This is kind of one of those silly looking bunnies. I think it would have turned out a lot better looking just if it was a realistic bunny. I mean, I like realistic bunnies better than these little silly bunnies, but it's a good one to practice on because it only costs $1.50, and if you don't like the outcome, you can just toss it if you want to or give it to someone else. I think the technique turned out, it's just this bunny that I'm just not a huge fan of, but you can imagine what it would look like if it was a realistic bunny. It would have looked a lot prettier. It would have been more my taste. Now, y'all let me know what you think about this bunny, if you like it, and y'all let me know in the comments which one of these projects was your very favorite. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I asked y'all to vote. You can still see it. There's a post up on my community tab where I put posts, and I asked you to vote for your favorite video or which topic sounded the best for my next video, and a lot of y'all voted. The blue and white was not your top choice, but I had already had it in the works and I just wanted to do this video. I have a vintage floral / dark and moody video coming up. I've done all the pieces. I just have to seal them and do the final shots. I think y'all are going to love that video. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. If you haven't caught my latest video, I'll put it right at the end where you can catch my latest video, or YouTube will pick one that thinks is the best one for you. Remember, if you'd like to purchase any of these products that you saw here today, the paints, the waxes, the brushes, or the transfer set, y'all just go ahead and head over to the description, and I'll put the link to my website there.